Welcome back to Rise and Shine Crochet. I have been working feverishly on some projects that all stemmed from my adoption project, which you may have read about on my blog. If not, I will put the link in the blog here so that you can go back and see what I've been doing. But I've chosen a couple of stories to share with you. And I have been so touched by these stories that I have a really hard time choosing them. So I think I'm going to make something for the 3 stories here that I have chosen, and you can listen to the stories and see what you think. And please share this with whoever you can find who is in relation to adoption in any way. They can email their stories to Rise and Shine Crochet. That's RISEN Shine Crochet, CROCHET @gmail.com. Email their stories and share away with whoever you know that is doing any sort of adoption, has adopted, will be adopting, is involved with adoption, and can share the story for me. But here's the first story that I have. This actually comes from a friend of my husband's, and they have been involved in fostering families for a while now, and this is what she says. I have lots of stories from fostering, neat things that God has done to fill us with such gratitude that we can be the hands and feet of Jesus and love these children who don't have people to love them. It really hit me on Mother's Day that the little 2-year-old boy who calls me mommy didn't have anyone to love him besides us. It makes me tear up just thinking that his mom has chosen drugs over him and his dad has chosen a life of crime and 10 years behind bars over him. His cousin abused him, and there is no one else who is calling to check on him to make sure he's not sick or scared or hurt. It's like he's just forgotten. He's too young to realize all this, and he just squeezes us around our necks and gives us juicy kisses and squirms when we tickle him. I don't know what the future will hold, but he's definitely been our greatest challenge yet. Extremely picky eater. I just dread meal times. He's very strong-willed and stubborn and is always just seconds away from a major tantrum. Yet he's adorable and sweet and just needs so much love. I have a few friends who are in the process of adopting, and I will share this with them. I love that story because I just think about that there's this little 2-year-old. I have a 3-year-old, and my 3-year-old can throw a temper tantrum anywhere. I just drug him out of Publix yesterday, kicking and screaming. And I know that they can be frustrating, but boy, when I love on him, he just turns himself around. So to think that you take in somebody else's little tantrum throwing toddler and love them and they become part of your own family, it just makes me want to cry just thinking about it. So that's the first story. And then the second story, these were all very, very touching stories. They found me through one of the adoption agencies and said, I was diagnosed with a rare childhood cancer. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. I can get the sarcoma part. At the age of 22 months old, I was a patient at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital and received life-saving radiation and chemotherapy as a small child. I have been cancer-free for almost 29 years and have had no further concerns or complications. The amount of radiation I received as a small child caused my infertility. After discussion with my husband and prayerful consideration, we strongly feel led to have a family through adoption. Ever since I can remember, I have wanted to adopt. I can remember being in middle school when my doctors told me I would not be able to conceive. It never occurred to me not to have children. Of course I would adopt. It is something that I have embraced from a young age and am very comfortable with at this time. When I began dating Tim, I told him I would not be able to conceive, and he immediately responded with compassion, and he's already thought about adoption and the incredible opportunity it would have on our family. I was so thankful that God brought us together and solidified that Tim would be a great dad to our future adopted children. We cannot wait to see what God has in store for our family through adoption. We are awaiting family now and hope to meet our little one soon. And this is a story I hear all too frequently. Just cannot have children, and there's no chance of it. And it just breaks my heart to think that there's people out there who have children they could offer for adoption, and there's a family waiting. There's a family waiting right here for them, and they've been known all their lives they're going to adopt. And then here is my other story that I chose. I saw your video on the Domestic Infant Adoption Facebook group, and I want to send a little message with our adoption story. She's happily married. We have fun and easygoing marriage and 2 dogs who are the loves of our lives. 6 months after our wedding, I was diagnosed with stage 2B cervical cancer. I was told at 29 years old I would need not only a hysterectomy but also chemotherapy and radiation, and that I'd never be able to have children myself. This was devastating to me at my young age because not only was I afraid of my survival rate, but I also had the sadness of living as an infertile woman. My husband and I went through a quick round of in vitro fertilization and were able to get 6 healthy embryos that were quickly frozen. For years after that, we had many people come out and say they wanted to carry a baby for us. For some reason or another, most of them never could. One friend got pregnant on her own. One was told she couldn't carry anymore. One lost her job. One lost her insurance. One sadly found out her husband was unfaithful and was not able in an emotional state to do it. Moving forward, we did finally have 2 women we worked with at different times, but no matter how many times we transferred embryos, we never succeeded in a pregnancy. Never even a positive pregnancy test. After working on surrogacy for almost 6 years, we were defeated and sad and needed a little break. One day last year, I received a phone call from my cousin saying her friend was in the mental health institution and her little girl had nowhere to go. We took the little 2-year-old girl without hesitation. We called Department of Child and Family Services and the police to make sure all the paperwork was properly filed and everyone knew we were legally able to care for this child. We had her from Memorial Day until Halloween. We had her for 7 full months. 7 months is a long time, and we fell head over heels in love with her and were even more prepared to adopt her. Her mother didn't make it easy on us and called the police every chance she got to have them come out and check on things. At one point, she even fraudulently told them we kidnapped her child. We were in contact with our attorney to get papers in motion to adopt her. However, the day after Halloween, we received a call from DCFS that said we needed to bring her back to her mother that day. We were heartbroken as her mother was an alcoholic, was mentally ill, and carried a domestically violent relationships. Having her in our house showed us that biology didn't matter. It showed us that we could unconditionally love with all of our hearts that was not biologically linked to us. We called an attorney and got the ball rolling for domestic infant adoption. We finished our home study and paperwork, background checks, and fingerprints, and we waited. Now we are blessed to be matched with an amazing birth mom in Ohio, and we are expecting our first child, baby boy, due July 31st. We've never been this close to achieving our dreams and being parents, and we were elated and over the moon excited. We haven't bought anything for the baby yet because of how emotionally difficult our journey has been. We would love to be considered in receiving one of your adorable and intricate crocheted items. I cannot wait to offer something to these families because these stories are just so unbelievable and so hard for me to relate to, and I'm so grateful to be offering something to them. I'm going to post links in my blog that show what I'm offering, and if they choose something from there, that's fine. If they find something on the Facebook page that they're like, hey, can you make this? I'll be happy to do that, but I will post as these items get chosen, and you can see what the journey is. Please, please, please share this story if you know someone who is adopting, or if there's one of the agencies asked me if I'd be willing to auction an item off and give the money to a family. I'm also willing to do that. See, these roads just led in all different directions, and I'm happy to help. So please spread the story. My email is riseshine, RISEN, shine crochet @gmail.com. You can email me there. You can comment through the blog. You can also go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/rise and shine crochet. I'll put the links here for you too as well. Thanks for listening.